Good evening. I know, I feel I'll have to sing a song or something. Yeah? Okay, do you want me to sing a song? Okay, we'll sing a song. We'll ask everyone to stand up, we're going to sing a song. I'm not joking, please stand up, we'll sing a song. We really will sing a song. All right, okay, are you ready? Here's the song. Out of respect for our partners. God, I can't believe I'm doing this. Okay, here we go. Limerick, you're a lady, your shining waters, tears of joy they flow. The beauty that surrounds me, I take it with me here where'er I go. And waking in the arms of distant waters, a new day finds me far away from home. And Limerick, you're a lady, the one true love that I have ever known. Okay. Can't believe I did that, but anyway, we're in trouble now. Okay, well, that's the Irish. So, just as we're starting tonight, let me get back in zone, and I want to thank, tomorrow's very much we'll be working closely with our partner Limerick City and County Council, and today was very much in UAlbert University of Limerick. I want to thank Kirsten, Nigel, Sean, Ian and all the team. Really inspiring, and particularly inspiring was Stephen Kensla and Jamie Heaslip with those students, the 4 ISC students. Brilliant people. I mean, everyone said after, you know, the sheer dynamism of them, and if I remember their names, let's see, can I remember now? It's my evening for remembering. There was a lady called Rosie Kennelly, there was Dara Newsom, there was Connor Callanan, and there was Fred Shepherd, if I'm not mistaken. Okay? And they were super. And tonight, I actually would like you to stand now to praise Sean O'Sullivan, BT Young Scientist of the Year, who's with us tonight. Sean? Thank you very much. And Sean is joined by his parents, Gerald and Tara. He clearly takes after his mum, Tara, evidently. Okay, so now I'd like to call upon, I better get the names correct, Councillor Gerald Mitchell, although you normally go as Gerald, but like all of us, you use the formal name that your mother gave you, you know, and nothing about it. So I'd like to call upon Gerald, Councillor Gerald Mitchell, as the Mayor of the City and County of Limerick, to say some welcome remarks.
Firstly, may I say it is great to hear a Corkman singing in Limerick. So. Your Excellence, ambassadors, Ambassador China, I think we're expecting Ambassador from Indonesia here shortly. Minister Patrick Donovan, Minister for DOPW. Dr. Pat Daly, CEO of Limerick City and County Council. Alan Dukes, Chair of Asia Matters. And Martin Murray, who's to come here this morning, did a great job, Executive Director of Asia Matters. And President of University Limerick, Professor Kirsten May. Distinguished guests, good evening to you all, and you are all very welcome to Limerick, particularly the people from Cork. Together with Professor May and our friends at the University of Limerick, we are privileged to host such a distinguished gathering here this evening for what is the first Asia Matters Business Summit here in Limerick. Recognised as Ireland's centre of excellence for Asian business, knowledge and partnerships, Asia Matters has an important role to play in the development of regional economies such as ours here in Limerick. The many Asian students studying in Limerick universities and the skilled professionals working in Limerick companies have been key to our recent economic successes. In Limerick, our ethos is captured in our brand image, Atlantic Edge, European embrace. This reflects not only our geographical identity, but also our cultural ethos of being a welcoming and inclusive society. The Asian community in Limerick, which includes students, professionals and entrepreneurs, is a testament to this. This community contributes significantly to the vibrancy of our city, the competitiveness of our economy and the excellence of our educational institutions. As we gather this evening on the conclusion of day one of the summit, which was very interesting this morning, let me acknowledge you the invaluable contributions Asian companies and Asian nationals have made to our country. International partnerships and collaborations are what drive regional economies. Building relationships based on mutual respect and understanding is what creates opportunities. I would like to thank Martin and Samantha for bringing this summit to Limerick. This event represents a significant step forward in our ongoing journey towards creating a deeper, more meaningful partnerships between Limerick and Asia. Again, rooted in mutual benefit and shared success. Together we can continue to build a future that reflects the best of our collective goals, underpinned by the spirit of Atlantic Edge, European embrace. Enjoy your evening and thank you once again for joining us here. And here's to Limerick 5 in a row.
Mr. Mayor, Ambassador, Madam President, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to sing. I like you all too much for that. It gives me great pleasure to invite Minister Patrick O'Donovan to address us. I may say a few little words later on about where I see our connections with Asia and how they're important. And to the extent that we can do it, we would like to make sure that the connections between Europe and Asia, and indeed other places in Asia, remain productive and fruitful and less contentious than they happen to be now. I'm not going to venture into geopolitics, God forbid, although the temptation is huge, but I think events like this really deserve more attention and more cultivation. Because if Asia Matters is anything, it's a linkage organisation. It's a networking organisation. And I'm delighted to say in the 12 or 13 years that we've been in existence, we have managed to increase and intensify and deepen links between Ireland and a great many partners in Asia, and indeed to help European partners to develop their links with Asia. You all know much more about those specific links than I do, which is why we've always invited you here. But I want to ask Minister O'Donovan now to reflect a little bit more on where the government stands on all of these issues. Minister Patrick O'Donovan, please.
Gur míle maith go léir agus ar dús a gcuinniú le fear fáilte romh go léir go háirithe muintear an clár agus muintear Corcaí agus muintear Tipperdaran go limnach asach an ceiliúra seo agus bhuiile míad le chéile chun an gcóáil seo faoin nasc idir éireann agus anáis. I want to start by acknowledging the Mayor, the CEO of Limerick City and County Council, representatives of the University of Limerick, and the farmer ministers that are here. There's a number of farmer ministers here, and I start off by acknowledging the Chairman, Alan Dukes, Pat Breen, my colleague in County Clare, Farmer Minister in the Department of Enterprise, and Mary Mitchell O'Connor, no stranger to Limerick either, Farmer Minister for Enterprise, Trade and Employment, and Minister in the Department of Education, and everybody else. You're all very welcome. I do want to single out Sean O'Sullivan, and I was speaking to his mum and dad, who I know outside of this job, before we got started. And when I was up at the Young Scientist exhibition, is the most inadequate that I have ever felt in my life, listening to this young man and what his project was about, and how he basically decided that artificial intelligence needed to be used in many ways to combat artificial intelligence. And Sean, we're all immensely proud of you in Limerick. I really mean that. And I have no doubt in many, many years to come, wherever the road will take you, Pallaskinry won't be far away and Croom won't be far away. But sincerely, I mean this, and you know that for your mum and dad as well, it's a huge source of pride for them and for your school, but for you especially, this is an enormous achievement that visits very few counties, and we are immensely proud of you, as we are of our hurlers. You're one of them. So I've just been asked to reflect on where the Government of Ireland stands with regard to our Asia-Pacific strategy. And we've, I suppose, developed a national strategy through the Department of Foreign Affairs in the first instance, together with the Department of Enterprise, Trade and Employment, with the state agencies like EI and IDA, Borbia and others, to look at this on a regional basis. And there is no doubt about it that over the last number of years, Ireland has put a really big emphasis on developing linkages both bilaterally and multilaterally with the countries that we're reflecting on, and that I know that your discussions in University of Limerick and tomorrow in Limerick City and County Council will include. And part of that has even included cultural relationships. And my own department, the Department of the Gaeltacht, for instance, we now have people in all over Asia and the Pacific Rim learning the Irish language who have no connection whatsoever to Ireland, in the same way as they're learning Irish music and their understanding about Irish culture. Because the exposure that this island has gotten over the last number of years has been meteoric, and there is no doubt about that. And you only need to look at the recent, I suppose, political engagements that have taken place. And we've been delighted that Premier Lee has been here. The Ambassador did a huge amount of work in making sure that that event was hugely successful, and we look forward to subsequent ones. But as well as that, the Taoiseach was in South Korea recently, the Taoiseach has been to China, and the Minister for Enterprise is due to go to India and Bangladesh as part of his St. Patrick's Day events. And actually, this is a time of the year coming up to March, and my farmer colleagues in the Oireachtas will understand this and will appreciate this. There is no other country in the world that gets the level of exposure that Ireland gets every March at any time of the year. Like the Danes don't get a day in the White House, the Finns don't get a day in the White House, you know, the Belgians don't get a day on the Great Wall of China. There is no other country in the world for our size that has the marketability that we have and the exposure that we have. And I was just looking before I came in there, and just in the Asia-Pacific rim alone, like Minister Coveney, as I say, is going to India, Michael McGrath is going to China, Roger Gogarman will be in Japan, Hildegard Nocton will be in Singapore, Oisin Smith and James Brown will be in Vietnam and in Thailand, respectively. So these are opportunities that I know from the time that I represented the country, and the other ministers will know this as well, that other nations look on with massive degrees of envy. And over 2 successive visits, pre-COVID and post-COVID, I had the opportunity to be in Malaysia, Vietnam and Thailand. And there is no doubt about it, but that the opportunities for this country are just enormous. Now, in some cases, the opportunities are already being realised, which is fantastic, but it shows as well the scale of what is out there. And oftentimes, Ireland has traditionally, I suppose, put out its arms to North America, which is a very important market and will continue to be a very important market into the future. But that does not mean that there are other markets that we need to also show the same level of interest, both diplomatically and bilaterally. And I think tonight's event is part of that. It's showcasing in many ways, the importance of the Asia-Pacific rim to Limerick and the Midwestern region. But more importantly, it's also showcasing this part of Ireland to markets that are really beyond our wildest expectations. And as part of that, the government are making big investments. Over the last number of years, we have opened embassies and missions in Manila, in First Embassy in Wellington. It's hard to believe that we never had an embassy in New Zealand, and has been reciprocated now with a New Zealand ambassador to Ireland. We will have a new embassy in Islamabad, and as well as that, we will have the first Ireland House initiative, which is basically the Irish Embassy and all of the state agencies, Enterprise Ireland, IDA, Tourism Ireland, Board BIA, and all of the support agencies in Tokyo, which my department, the Office of Public Works, are building and completing. And it'll be an opportunity for us to use that as an exemplar in other parts of the world, whether it's in Washington or whether it's in Sydney or whether it's in Ottawa, to say that the Ireland House element is something that will actually work, where you can have collaboration under one roof, both in terms of diplomats and in terms of those that are looking at doing economic work as well. And over the last number of years, we have seen Enterprise Ireland, for instance, and I was there myself when I had the opportunity to be in Vietnam as part of St. Patrick's Day event. You know, we can see now the real tangible benefits that are taking place in all of these markets. And some of them start off small, and there's no doubt about it. We are a small country, but we definitely punch way above our weight. I know that's a total cliche, but it actually is something that's real. When you're standing in a receiving line in either Bangkok or in Kuala Lumpur or Ho Chi Minh City, and there are lines and lines of people coming in who have never been to Ireland but have heard everything about it, who know about our culture, who know about our music, who know about Riverdance, and who want to buy Irish produce, and more importantly, want to invest in Ireland. So that will show you that the opportunities are enormous. And you know, the Department of Finance have given, through the economic forecasts, suggests that up in the years coming up, 70% of the total global growth will be in Asia alone. And that's a reflection on not only the demographic growth that's taking place on that continent, but as well as that, the economic growth and some of the countries that are really powering ahead. And the latest consolidated figures that the department have for me this evening is that the total value of goods and trade is heading now, and services, is 89 billion, just short of 90 billion euros, which is an enormous amount of money, sustaining a huge amount of jobs all over Ireland, and as well as that, investing back into the Irish Exchequer through the Department of Finance and Public Expenditure, and allowing us then therefore to invest in communities all over the country. So we can't understate the value, and that's why I think organisations like Asia Matters are so important, not only in terms of looking at the here and now and the past, but more importantly in terms of the future. So it offers us a great opportunity for diversification, but it also offers us the opportunities to our state agencies. Like Enterprise Ireland has 9 international offices around the Asia-Pacific rim, supporting 26 markets. And these are small Irish indigenous companies that are exporting out with the support of EI. In many cases, would not be able to do it. And an awful lot of them have grown organically from the local enterprise offices under the auspices of our city and county councils into EI, and before they know where they are, container traffic into China or into Vietnam or into Malaysia or into India. And that is something that we have to make sure that we protect. Our reputation is hugely important. Our quality has to be hugely important. Our dialogue. And I think Irish people, by virtue of the fact that we're known to be storytellers, and we love telling stories, and we love discussion, it's probably the thing at events like this that separates us from other countries in the European Union, for instance. Other countries in the European Union, let's call a spade, are probably not as friendly as we are. So it's more difficult to do business with them. And that's what separates us out. And that's why when we have events like trade missions, where the Minister for Agriculture is leading into China, or the Minister for Enterprise is leading into India, and there's a whole suite of companies following them, it does get local notice, because it doesn't happen anywhere else. Nobody else does this. That's a good thing for us that nobody else does it. And nobody else certainly has St. Patrick, which is a really good thing. And nobody else dyes rivers green and dyes hair green and everything else. And while all that paddy-whackery is something that we can smile about and laugh about, it is very important, and we shouldn't understate it. Because from an Irish point of view, the real sectors that will be of growth into the future and in the present and into the future, you all know them because many of you are working in them, are fintech, construction, life sciences, consumer retail, and the agri-technology and agri-business as well. And here in this city, where there is 3 colleges of further education, 2 universities, and Mary Immaculate College training for education, the opportunity here as well, where we export education services, is also something that we should be able to celebrate, and something that we should be able to be very proud of. On the other side, you have the IDA. So the IDA bringing organisations, companies and missions into Ireland, also a lot of that happens organically. It happens in many cases, and I know this firsthand through my own town in Newcastle West. Sometimes it happens through just innocent conversations in small towns in South Carolina, leading to a biotech company establishing in a place called Newcastle West. You can't underestimate the value that the IDA have externally as well. And they have a huge footprint when it comes to making sure that Ireland Inc. is represented not only in Asia Pacific, but across the globe as a whole. So last month, the government launched Global Citizens 2030, which is Ireland's talent and innovation strategy. And I think this man down here, you'll all agree with me, is a perfect example of the type of global citizen that we want to have in the future. You know, somebody that will be able to translate that skill set that he has from his school days in Croom to wherever he goes to university, onwards to being a global citizen. And we already have that out of our 2 universities and Mary Immaculate here in Limerick, and we want to make sure that that increases. And I know that Simon Harris, the Minister for Further and Higher Education, is anxious to make sure that those universities, particularly those that are outside of Dublin, may get the best share possible in terms of government investment, which also leads on to philanthropic and industry investment into them to make sure that that level of collaboration between business and universities, not only in Ireland, but in the marketplace as well, can be sustained, which is something that's really important. And I'm going to finish where I started, which is about people-to-people. People-to-people connections are in many cases underestimated and understated of their value and their importance. And we can't do that. You know, the ambassador from Indonesia and from China, hugely busy people in their own right. But to give time to come down to this part of the world and get an understanding of the opportunities that lie for their countries as well here in the Midwest is something that is really significant for our local authority, including the Clare and Tipperary people, as well as it is for our university sector and our manufacturing sector and our export sector. And again, that level of relationship, and the former ministers will attest to this, doesn't happen anywhere else in the world. And we're fortunate to do that because we're a small country, we're only a parish, 2 degrees of separation between every Irish person, and everybody in the room knows somebody or knows somebody's in-law or grew up beside somebody who knew somebody who milked their cows at one stage. And that is very important, and that's why we're a trusted partner. And while we have that trusted partnership and while we're regarded as a safe partner internationally, we are regarded very highly internationally. It's clear from our election, for instance, to the United Nations Security Council, and you know, we beat off strong opposition in that the international community views us very highly. So how do we translate that then into opportunities for young people like Sean at home in Pallaskinry going to school in Croom? And that's the challenge that we have, and that's where I think the real value of organisations like Asia Matters will come in, to make sure that companies that are out in the marketplace at the moment, maybe at local enterprise office level, maybe in Enterprise Ireland level, is beginning to find their feet in an export market that they have never done before, that they have that level of support from EI, from Board BA, from IDA, from the embassies, from everybody else that has worn that track before them. And everybody that has been successful has worn that track before everybody else, and they've all repeated the same mistakes. And that's why people to people, person to person, that absolute engagement that we are known for and our ability to tell story is so important, because nobody does stories like Irish people, and especially the stories of, well, do you know now, there was a time when I ran into a problem in Vietnam and so saved it for me. That's how an awful lot of the collaboration has started in Ireland, and that's why it is so successful. So look, I just want to say thanks to Alan and all the organisers for this opportunity, because Limerick over the last 20, 30 years has really been transformed from a young person in the 80s growing up in Limerick, where the opportunities were not what they are now, to be a city and a county where it's diversified, it's multicultural, it's plural, it is an area where people want to invest in. It is a very, very nice place to live in. There's an awful lot of very good things happening here, and I think that requires leadership. And that leadership has been provided over the last number of years to not only to the people that live here and work here, but to those who want to invest here as well. And to those who want to invest here, you know, that is hugely important to make sure that they feel that they're welcome here. And there is no better place in Ireland to invest in than in Limerick City or County. So thank you very much.